The Lost City of Atlantis. Plato, the legendary Greek philosopher, reintroduced the lost island of Atlantis to the world almost 2,300 years ago. When he first mentioned Atlantis in his writings, it was already lost from maps and memories, and that was 9,000 years ago. And yet, after centuries, the mystery of an advanced civilization on Atlantis and their sudden disappearance still inspires expeditions. In today's episode, we are going to explore some of the fascinating insights about Atlantis. Some believe Atlantis was a nation made of several islands, while others believe it was a huge island which was the cradle of all civilizations. There's a theory that every civilization, present or past, can trace its roots back to Atlantis. So, where was this island? The most popular opinions put Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere at the outskirts of the Strait of Gibraltar. Some mention the location being closer to the Mediterranean Sea, while there are others who believe that Atlantis to be near Antarctica. For Atlantis' disappearance, three natural causes are blamed. First, an earthquake of a devastating magnitude that could have sunk the whole place. Second, a tsunami that might have swallowed the entire region. Third, an inescapable volcanic eruption. So, what's the deal with Atlantis? Well, Plato considered Atlanteans to be a superior race with individuals being half god and half human. They had created a superior world of their own, which we can only consider to be of utopian standards. It's also believed that they had pioneered naval explorations way earlier than the dates mentioned in our modern historical records. Their naval power was probably incredible. As per Plato, Atlantis was a nation of concentric islands that used wide moats for managing the security of their individual territories, while they connected with one another through a canal that streamed through and around the main island in the center of these islands. The most astonishing part of their architecture was that they had channeled 5 rings of water to internally connect the lands with the help of 5 tunnels, and they had constructed a huge canal to link the outer parts of the 5 water rings directly with the ocean, almost like a wheel. Amazing, isn't it? The 5 tunnels were also used to accommodate ships. Each of these Atlantean islands is considered to have supported an abundance of wildlife, including quite a few exotic ones. Silver, gold, and many other precious metals were a part of this civilization, and the main island in the center of all islands stood as the capital city of the Great Atlantis. Routes to the city were well guarded by watchtowers and soldiers on gates. The walls around the city were made of red, white, black rocks and decorated with metals. However, contrary to Plato, an early Christian author, Tertullian, claimed that though Atlantis existed in the Atlantic Ocean, but it was way huge than Plato's description. Tertullian compared it to the size of land occupied with today's Libya, combined with Asia. Wow! Anyway, now let's talk about some of the early interests of our civilization in Atlantis. After his initial encounter with America, when Columbus informed Europe about discovering a whole new world out there, most of them believed that he had stumbled upon the mythical Atlantis. This boosted a lot of exploration to venture in that direction. In 1882, Ignatius Donnelly, the former U.S. congressman, did his own set of research and published a book with the title Atlantis, the Antediluvian World. He shared 13 hypotheses related to Atlantis. He strongly believed that Atlantis wasn't some myth. It was mankind's first experience of living in an age of prolonged peace and harmony. It was Donnelly who credited Atlantis of being the cradle of the ancient civilizations around the world. He dreamed and desired to see Atlantis with his own eyes until his last breath. Then there's ocean explorer Robert Ballard, who had discovered the wreck of the Titanic in 1985. According to Ballard, there are logical chances of Atlantis being real. He pointed out that Atlantis could have faced a massive level of destruction, which managed to annihilate the people and place due to cataclysmic floods and volcanic eruptions. These kinds of disaster have been recorded throughout history. One such incident is of 1600 BCE, when a catastrophic volcano wiped out of the whole of Minoan settlements from the Greek island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea. And the earthquake and tsunami that followed this volcanic eruption destroyed the other communities and their agricultural lands on the nearby islands and the coast of Crete. Another debate among some researchers claims that there is a possibility that Atlantis was located close to Bahamas, and at some point it was swallowed by the Bermuda Triangle. Even Richard Freund led expedition on more than 60 sites around the globe in search of Atlantis. His team was an international group made of archaeologists, geoscientists, explorers, and even historians. Now, keep in mind that Freund himself is a renowned scholar, also an archaeologist, a historian, an enthusiastic explorer. His findings were shared by Nat Geo in a documentary. And finally, let's take a look at the most popular mythology behind Atlantis, and a paranormal theory too. One of the Olympian gods, Poseidon, was roaming around the world to find the biggest island available, and he ended up at what would be later known as Atlantis. He decided to populate the island, choosing the most brilliant and beautiful people spread across the world. During this high-spirited venture, Poseidon came across Plato and fell in love with her. Their 10 children inherited the great city of Atlantis, and the eldest son Atlas was made the first ruler. For a long while, Atlanteans were known to be moral, spiritual, and an advanced society. They possessed remarkable knowledge of working with metals, large-scale agriculture, exploring oceans, and even volcanoes. However, eventually, as the generations passed, they were overcome with greed. They were growing rich with resources, but from within, they had become morally bankrupt. This made the gods quite angry, and they unleashed terrible fires and earthquakes that sunk Atlantis so deep in the ocean that it became nearly impossible for even the ruins to be found. Now, since you know the mythology, take a quick look at the paranormal theory too. Some people believe that the original inhabitants of Atlantis were aliens from the Lyrian star system who had reached there about 50,000 years ago from our time. They were a stronger version of what we humans are today, and their average lifespan used to extend up to 800 years. Let us know your views in the comment section. If you liked today's episode and wish to see more stories like this one, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notifications. Also, please let us know what you think of our content through the comment section. See you soon with another intriguing story. Until then, goodbye and take care.